how did it all start? I've heard something about a restaurant and a napkin. Is that true?
Those are actually stories that are true. The start of Absolent was actually a function totally out of my friend Thomas Lindbrom losing his job very suddenly. And he needed desperately to find a new occupation, and he knew that he didn't want to be an employee again. He wanted to form a company. So he called me. I was working in Stockholm at the time at a management consulting firm called McKinsey, and asked me for help how to develop a business plan. So since I had a lot to do, we met halfway. So Thomas drove from Lidköping and I drove from Stockholm to Örebro, which is halfway. And we met at the Eurostop there in Örebro, which I think had a hamburger restaurant there when we met. And the whole purpose from the beginning was to help him start a company. So I took on my consultant glasses and I started to interview him and, what do you know? What are your skills? What possible field should this company address? And we started with the fact that he had been a production manager at the company, and there they had produced filters. So he knew a little bit about filters, and the combination of filters and doing something good for the work environment sounded like a good idea. So that's how we got into that. But the basic thing was sketched on the napkin, some kind of an embryo to a business plan with this focus. And the purpose of that little plan was for him to go to the bank the next week.
But was the picture really clear of what you wanted to do? You said filters, but filters could be for a lot of things, of course.
Yes. No, of course, it was not clear at all. It turned out that we started with the type of filters that had been produced in this company where Thomas was working. And then we kind of tried to redesign them for a better solution. And we started to produce with the help of outsourcing some of these filters. And we actually sold a few, but we experimented. And then we met up with a third person, Dan Holmberg, who had a company at that time called Trådringen, who was actually producing these type of oil mist filters, but in a fairly basic configuration. And as it turned out, half a year later, we bought his company and he became the third partner in the companies. We had 1/3 each. And Thomas was very much the person driving everything, driving the company. He was very result oriented, very, very good. And Don was the typical inventor who had some ideas on how to make a good oil mist filter. And I was the person trying to help out with everything that I could because I had another job at the side. So I did a lot of the first customer contracts, sourcing contracts, employee contracts, all the kind of admin that you need to put in when you build up a company. So we had those roles and we started rolling together kind of. Then we got in contact and discussed with SKF fairly early and built up the trust with them, with the head of maintenance there in Gothenburg, because they had a lot of filters from a competitor based on electrostatic technologies, and they were not working very good in their setting. They were kind of had to be cleaned every month, and they were dripping oils and so on. And we had our filter bed solution with this self-draining capacity, and we were a bit cocky. We were not sure, but we told him that we could solve his problem for sure, but we needed a big order for that. And he was willing to, which I think was against a lot of rules in SKF actually, but he trusted us and he was willing to put a big order on us. But then we also had to twist his arm because we needed an upfront payment because we could not afford to buy all the materials to produce this. I think it was maybe 15 filters or something like that. So he actually agreed to pay us 1/3 of the order value upfront. And that was kind of the thing that took us over the hill, so to speak. And that's when I felt this actually can take off, because then we had a big internationally known customer that chose our products. And if we could manage that was kind of the building block that we needed. M&A was part of the strategy from the beginning. We always said that we would grow organically, with the healthy growth organically, and on top of that do acquisitions because it's a very fragmented industry, so it's very suitable for that. However, in the early days, of course, we had no money to buy any companies for. But we did buy the company from Don Holmberg, Trådringen, in the early days. We looked at several others, but we could never really finance it. And then later on, then around 2006, when Thomas wanted to leave the company because of health reasons, we found a good owner in Michael Schörling and his family, and I think with them in the back, as a strong owner with strong financial muscles. And when Filtermist came for sale, it was a very natural thing, I think, to go into that bidding process and actually in the end then buy it, because they were a good complement to Absolent. They were on a different technology, centrifugal technologies. They were positioned lower in the market, more low costs. They were a good complement geographically with UK, complement in the US, and also a strong position in Asia through distributors. So all in all, it was a very, very good fit. And then we could really push the button when we had that new strong owner, that could help us take that risk, so to speak. Some of the strategies were formulated from the beginning, and I think we have stuck to in a good sense over the years. And one was to really be close to the customers. And in contrary to what was done by most of our competitors, we tried to really measure the pollution that they had with facts, and we tried to streamline our filters with different materials to fit into different contexts. If it was this kind of lubricant or coolant or this type of CNC machine, that we would have differences in our filters to fit in, to make the performance better of the filter. And that was totally new. Nobody had done that, as far as I know, at those days, because then our competitors sold the filter for a filter. Everything was just standard, so to speak. So we had a different sales approach from the beginning. And I think we have developed that over the years and become better and better. And that, I think, was one of the key success factors, actually, in addition to the product itself, why we were able to break into this market in a very good way. We did realize filters was good, and we did realize, of course, environment was good. But I think this sense that doing something good for society and doing something good for the workplace, that has really grown on us over time. But I found an enormous satisfaction to be part of the company over these 30 years and see how much good we are doing in reality to the workplace and to the environment of the people who work there, as well as, of course, improving efficiency in terms of safeguarding electronics, avoiding cleaning actions, and that kind of stuff. So I think it has grown on me, but I find it's always, as far as I can remember, it's always been a strong force. Maybe not in the first couple of weeks, because then it was much more about getting a job for Thomas. But it's always been a strong driving force in creating this company and this group of companies to focus on areas where we can make a difference for the environment, for the people who work in different industrial settings. I think at least one of the factors has been that we have kept not the whole strategy, of course, but we kept kind of the core of the strategy very intact over the years. And I think some of the things that has really helped us has been, of course, always starting with a very good product that solves the issues of our customers, and that we've been able to create innovation in an industry that wasn't really known for innovation. So having a superior product that solves the problems for the customer, but couple that with a way of selling where we base it on facts, measurements, trying to adapt the product as much as possible to the actual customer needs with different kind of materials, different designs and so on, which was, when we started with this, unheard of in this industry, because it was one filter. There was no difference regardless of where that filter goes in what context it goes in. So I think we started with a unique selling approach, and I think we have been able to maintain that, the closeness to the customer, the fact-based approach in selling, and we've been able to develop and maintain innovative products. And on top of that, being very flexible in terms of, what should we do in-house, what should we do out-house in terms of outsourcing. Those have been some of the factors that has been with us, that has been, in my mind at least, been very, very important for our success. And of course, the ability to attract really talented people, which is always very important, of course. I'm amazed looking back how much has happened in these 30 years, but I'm actually even more positive about the future, because I think all these trends that has taken us here, they will be even stronger in the future. The focus on the environment, energy efficiency, work conditions in parts of the world where that has not been important in the past, but it will be important going forward. And the company's ability to be innovative and a way to operate. I think we are stronger than ever, and I think I'm really looking forward to the next 20 years, or I don't know how long time I can be part of this, but as long as I can, I'm really looking forward to the future. I think we have we had good possibilities when we started, obviously, but we have even better possibilities today.
Thank you, Joakim, and let's keep in touch and meet you here in 30 years again, and we'll see where we are at that point.
Yes. Then. I'm looking forward to it.